TGIF, guys. It's Friday. It's so good to have Friday every week. I'm not used to using like a normal work week. I mean, I've done teaching chess throughout much of my life and playing poker, and I don't always have such a routine schedule. But lately, I've been working mostly Monday through Fridays and Sundays. So Friday and Saturday are like my day off from chess. I'm kind of excited to take a break for a day, and then we'll be back on Sunday with a 40-40 simul on Sunday. So looking forward to a day off. It's good. You don't get into, if you play too much, you actually get kind of burned out on chess. I think you need to do other stuff away from the game very often. But it always is really hard when you're playing every day and you don't take a break. So taking a day off for me is really important. Saturday is like my free day. Anyway, good morning, guys. We're gonna be playing anything between 5+3 and 7+3 casual challenges here. Not necessarily only the subscribers. Like last night, we had our subscriber stream. Gladys Troll said 40 people. Do we have 40 people watching the show already? It seems like we've had an upsurge. I think, first of all, like lichess is just getting more and more people. Like lichess is growing incredibly over the last 6 months or a year. So it's great that you guys are here playing chess on lichess. I think the best site on the internet. Gladys Troll, welcome. Good morning, Anna. Ananas, pineapples. Let's see. Ananas is pineapple in German, in case you guys didn't know. They call it that here. They borrow a lot of German words in Hungary. After the Soviets left, I think that German was the one language that a lot of people learned. So we call it the same thing. The Troll on the Roll, SXPG, Ananas, Nefidov, Tushar. We're gonna be playing a couple chess 960s at the most. I usually like to do maximum 2. Titled arenas with Carlsen. Titled arenas with Carlsen and Caruana. Sounds like a good idea. Is that your personal idea, or is that something that actually is in the works? For those of you that don't know, I'm based in Budapest, Hungary. That's why I'm talking about speaking German words in Hungary. Many people watch, they see I'm American, hear my accent, and think I live in the United States. But I've been living here in Europe for basically the last 13 years. Just a little background on me. I'm an international master. I've been playing chess for over 30 years. I've been living here, as I said, for 13 years. And I've been getting back into chess over the last couple of years because I was kind of inactive between 2010 to 2015. I was really kind of inactive. So it's good to get back into the game. Hopefully I'll be playing more. I made an announcement yesterday that I'm going to be playing my next tournament. Will be the Budapest Spring Festival here. If anybody in Europe or anywhere is interested in a really good tournament, if you're a tournament player, you want to play a good tournament, the Spring Festival here in Budapest, Hungary is a strong tournament, and it's relatively inexpensive. It's in a really nice, kind of central location in Budapest, and I recommend it. Let's get started with the Troll on the Roll Chess 960 challenge. Alright, Troll on the Roll is white. This looks like a pretty easy position to coordinate. I mean, the bishop on the long diagonal, the 2 knights are not too bad. I think we can work with this. Troll plays e4. Most likely you're going to castle kingside. Most likely both sides will castle kingside, but it is useful in chess 960 to keep your options open. That surprise castling queenside usually really messes people up. Gladys Troll claimed he was from Tibet for a while, but I don't think it's true. I want to get both my knights in the game. I want to get the bishop on a8. Obviously, I've got to move the b pawn at some point. If we want to play hyper modern style where we don't establish pawns in the center immediately and try to chip away at the enemy's center, I think that b6 is the best. Alternatively, black looks to have maybe e5 or c5 here. I'm giving Troll a little too much in the center oftentimes though. And I think that's Palau. He's in Palau. Now where is that? That's like a Pacific island. some island in the South Pacific. Slemon, welcome. Thanks to you guys for subscribing. I think we reached our... We're peaking in terms of subscribers, which is cool. I haven't had to take a break, from the stream for a while. I will have to take a break in April when I play in this tournament, but usually the subscribers kind of die out a little bit when I'm off for a week or two. But I really appreciate you guys supporting the stream. Probably in the middle of April, I won't be streaming for like 9 days. Something between the 16th and the 26th of April will be the Budapest Spring Festival. But in the meantime, I should be streaming 6 days a week. Hopefully we'll get some instructive and fun entertainment going on here. F4, I like it. It's really aggressive. Obviously his king is exposed. Queen c5 check. It's very tempting, but c6 is also tempting, but I would block my own bishop on a8 ultimately. So I don't know what to do here. He's basically threatening to destroy my center. And the center is a very important long-term territory. Yesterday I had a game with Nefedov where he had no control of the central 4 squares, but it didn't seem to matter. I think that's very much the exception rather than the rule. You didn't notice this 960, yeah, it's pretty weird. Queen c5 check, queen f2 going to an ending where white's slightly better. But maybe we can do it. I'm hoping that I can, make him, let's say, have to work a little bit to get that pawn back on g5. Whoa. This was not on the radar. Okay, I assumed he couldn't do this because of pawn takes pawn. But we have to calculate, okay, pawn takes pawn, knight d3, or knight b3. So this in-between move that I didn't really think about, knight d3 more direct, attacking and defending f4. Still, although he might be able to have better control of the center temporarily, I mean, this is kind of awkward for white, having the rook pinned. But I'm not certain. I mean, if I take, he has to play knight d3, and then my queen moves and he recaptures on f4 without exchanging queens. This is extremely unexpected. Okay, I don't know. Maybe we could change tack and try to re-fortify our center with something like d6. Just looks very artificial. My queen is out there, blocked out with d6. Man. Takes knight d3, queen b6, let's say knight takes f4, and white has superiority. Threatening knight to d5 on my queen. I could maybe play like bishop g5, best case scenario. Alright, Troll. Seems like you're just better here. It's a pretty creative idea to come up with. I just assumed he was going to play queen f2. You shouldn't assume anything, but I did not think this was a viable move. you can't see everything. You can't consider every candidate moves. I mean, every candidate move. It's a little unnatural to play rook e3, and Troll is generally a safe player. I mean, I just accepted that he would play queen f2, queen takes f2, king takes f2, and be content that he could probably win the pawn back on f4. But in retrospect, he's not the kind of player that likes to sacrifice pawns for necessarily nothing. Although I really felt he could get the pawn back. Fisher Random, Carlsen versus Nakamura. Is it starting tomorrow? Okay. Queen b6. I don't trust my position at all. My big idea here is to sell my dark scored bishop for the knight, and by doing so, simplify the position and make sure that, you know, this was a really bad move, queen b6. Jeez. I don't know where I should have gone though. Queen back. I mean, to where, you know? Where can my queen go? That's a good square in this position. Queen c6 or something strange. That's not good either. Queen a5. Queen a5. I'm just screwing this up. This is awful because of my bishop on a8. Okay, it's a temporary problem, but it's a tempo. It's going to cost me a tempo to get my bishop on a8 back in the game. Birds. That's a Para Ubu song. Have you guys ever heard of them? There's this really strange American band from like the 80s. And the guy, the lead singer, I forget his name, he's still alive probably. He's like a really old man now. He would make these weird sounds and stuff. It's like an alt rock band from the early 80s. They were just really eccentric. They had a song called Birds. Queen takes f4, unexpected. I'm basically in a lot of trouble. But try not to play, you know, moves without a plan. Knight's coming to a theater near you. My queen is misplaced, yet it's pinning that rook. Conveniently castle. This is just a really creepy position for black. Knight c3, knight d5 is coming in, and I may have to play c6 to stop it. That would be very bad for my bishop on a8. Not really great for my queen as well. Got serious developmental problems. I can't allow knight d5. I mean, he'll just crush me with knight d5. One would imagine, although possibly I could let it come in there and then try to kick it out with c6. This is a very scary move too. Also stopping knight d6, knight c4 in some lines, but this looks extremely bad. I mentioned before that Troll in the opening in Chess 960 just seems brutal. The bishop on a1 is just incredible here. F6 is very weakening. Maybe I'll try knight e7. Bishop h5, knight g6. I mean, I have knight g6, but it's like a stopgap. I mean, he's got h4, h5 with a very strong attack. He could play that right away. I think that's probably strong. The pieces are just too slow to get out. Very aggressive play by Troll. You know, he didn't make any routine moves. Right from the get-go, this rook e3, f4, and rook e3. I mean, he borrowed Nimzo's 3-in-1 book from a library. When I came back to return it in 2 months, there was no more library. Hey, that's always useful. 3-in-1, so chess praxis, my system. But why is it 3-in-1? So the Fischer random match with Carlsen and Nakamura will be cool. If you're used to watching these games that I'm playing, we can see how 2,800 Super Grandmasters play. Someone recently was telling me that a Master Strength player, that he thought that Hikaru played Chess 960 differently from other players. I've never really watched Chess 960, too much at that level, but this guy who's a master who's seen Hikaru play Chess 960 knows him pretty well. He feels that like Hikaru plays differently, like he just throws everything at the other guy. Whereas most chess players, including Carlsen, kind of try to coordinate their pieces first, like it's normal chess. So it should be interesting to see. Possibly, Nakamura has a more aggressive, different style. The earliest one is Blockade. I guess I didn't even realize that was a separate book. I learned Nimzovich from sort of secondhand sources. I have a Horowitz book, or some American author, maybe Horowitz or another one, who kind of just collected all Nimzovich's games into one source. Bishop h5. I'm actually kind of happy to see Bishop h5. The move that scares me is pawn h5. Pawn h5 is going to tear me apart. So Troll might actually be doing himself a disservice by playing Bishop h5. Blocking his own pawn from coming down to h5. But anyway, like all of Nimzovich's ideas were very fundamental for the development of chess. You can learn Nimzovich from other players. If you study the games of Petrosian, for example, I mean, there's a lot of Nimzovich there. Larsen. I really learned Nimzovich from other players, not directly from studying his books. I don't even own my system, but I strongly, recommend studying Nimzovich. Queen g4. If I move my queen, his rook becomes active. Okay, but he's threatening my pawn. If I move my knight on c6, this also allows me to play b6. Trading queens is great for black in this position. Troll is kind of, I wouldn't say he's gone astray completely, but he's gone down the wrong path with Bishop h5. Possibly. And he always gets in time pressure, so we can play c6, threatening bishop b6 at one moment. That's going to block my bishop on a8, but I have to make a decision. It may be one bishop or the other, not both. Well, this isn't going to be easy under any circumstances, but I'm probably like more or less happy to trade. I'm actually happy to trade queens. White's still much better, but maybe we can survive. This knight on d5, maybe I could consider c6. I don't know which is worse. Burying my my d8 bishop or burying my a8 bishop? White has a clear advantage here. Maybe he's not winning, but it's still very unpleasant. Even with the queens traded, he has such an initiative after his very dynamic and aggressive opening play. All the white pieces are just more active. So he chooses to lose on time. White has a massive edge here. 0.7. I mean, that's relatively massive, I think. So this was just a very unpleasant game. Let's check out the center pawn loss. I mean, I really didn't think he made any mistakes. Some small mistake by trading queens. But in chess 960, there's so many possibilities, we probably missed some tactics. F4. Is this main line? Well, no, it's not that common. Most people don't have the guts to play this. But F4 might be the best move, or one of the best moves for white. It's very aggressive. This looks, to me, looks very strong. The engine said I was better. I mean, I find this very hard to believe. My computer is not that fast. So I don't trust anything you see on the Stockfish evaluation there. Nefedov said E takes F, Queen F4, Bishop G5. But where? But he has knight D3, that's the whole point. Did I miss something? Obviously I saw that, man. Why can't he take with a knight? Because of Queen A5. Oh no. I mean, I just assumed that my pieces were too uncoordinated like this. But this A2 is hanging. Gosh. So here, I can actually take this. Life just isn't fair. And there's no B4. Again, I'm winning a piece here. Even protecting F7. So Troll was bluffing me. I mean, I saw that, but I just didn't see Queen A5, how strong it was. Damn. Queen A5 basically threatens to win a piece, so he's got the double threat of this and this. So nice try, Troll. Alright. Almost got away with it. Yeah, okay, Nimzovich was... Well, I didn't read the actual book. I mean, I know all the games from my system through other sources. I'm sure that his commentary is funny. Taras was considered to be very dogmatic by many people. Never a favorite player of mine at all. I mean, I really don't know too many Taras games like I've even seen that I liked. He was obviously a very competent master and a strong player, but... Alright, let's go back to the challenge list. We got tons of games, so let's get to them. I'm going to play guys who are subscribers first. Try to play the subscribers first. Well, you fooled me, Troll. Like, I thought I had messed up. You know, I thought, like, oh god, rook e3, and now white, like, takes the initiative. But I missed how strong Queen a5 was. I think at the first moment I was only looking at Queen b6 and assumed that knight d3 was just good for white. And then, like, later I realized Queen a5... Only later I realized Queen a5 was quite strong. I'm not going to play the weird French thing again now. I've been playing this in the last couple days, e6. But let's try d5. Okay, the game started sharply, which, you know, usually Troll doesn't do that, like, so aggressive. And I was kind of taken off guard by f4, but it's early in the morning and I just woke up. That's my excuse. It's a good one. Another move here is f6, which is interesting, but I think it's kind of risky. You should play bishop d3, and I'm just kidding. No, I'm just trying to trick Nefedov. I saw a funny game yesterday. We'll wait for his move here. The subscription is the thing that costs $5 a month. 495. I mean, I think if it's more like just supporting the stream, you know, if you want to help, it's not required. I mean, I'm still gonna play some people who are not subscribers. Yeah, C3 Nefedov consulted his oracle and came up with C3. There was a funny game I saw in the chess opening explorer yesterday. It was like bishop f5, some dude played bishop d3, and I guess it was one of my students' games actually who played bishop g6 in response to bishop d3. But you can just do knight takes d4, and this actually happened in a master game. I mean, knight takes d4 just wins a pawn. Okay, so it's kind of like a cross between the Caro-Kann and the Nimzovich defense. But it is the Nimzovich defense. This is actually like regarded as the best move for white. I don't know the theory. I just can play based on strategy. Bishop to b5. That move kind of seems somehow strategically wrong. I mean, ultimately, he never wants to trade this piece because it's his better bishop. Really, the only place for it to go is on e2. If I'm not mistaken, I believe that maybe even f4 is like a common move here for white. But this is basically a decision I made yesterday in my mind, was that, you know, I'm going to play the Nimzovich defense on a occasional basis. The Nimzovich defense and 1g6 are the moves that score best in practice, because they're kind of like hyper-modern openings that players with the white pieces don't study very much. I think the Nimzovich much less so than let's say the modern defense. Hopefully we catch Mr. Nefedov sleeping here. I'm going to provoke him to weaken his structure a little bit more. I have no idea if this is considered best. But the idea is to play maybe h5 if he tries to do anything fancy with f4 or h4. Knight e2 seems like a sensible move. He's essentially playing knight f4 next. Now I could play f6. f6, knight f4, bishop f7. My concern would be white playing knight f4 followed by h4, which then becomes difficult to meet. I could also try a6 here. Probably not a bad move to throw in there. You can play on the queen side without playing f6. There's also like a last ditch bishop takes b1 if I get into a really uncomfortable situation with a bishop on g6 and getting trapped by pawns and stuff like that. I don't know what he's going to do. He can do bishop a4 or bishop d3. Bishop d3 technically trading favorably for me. Bishop a4 b5 weakens my queen side, but it may not be the end of the world. I think this is a good line for black to play on a practical level. I mean, I'm not going to argue that my position is equal, but it's very complicated. I mean, there's nothing exchanged. Anything can happen. If I want to play for a win with black, this is probably not a bad way to try to do it. Bishop takes and knight g6 maybe? Seems... Not sure. Maybe I should still consider f6. Yeah, hell with it. I guess he'll try to play f4. If f4, maybe I exchange on d3 and play f5. And lock it down on the white squares. Just the kind of blockade. But I mean, white is still better. What I don't want to see is like f4, let's say f takes e, where I'm just helping him attack me on the f file. If he plays f4, he blocks his bishop on c1. Then I can go into trying to blockade the white squares. If he takes on g6, I don't know, maybe I take back with the pawn. Actually, knight takes is okay there too. It's a risky opening for black. I wouldn't recommend this to beginners. It's just too hard to play. Too easy to make a mistake for black and just end up with like no space. I don't even trust myself here. I mean, it's one thing to play it in blitz, but I was always like afraid to play this line. I never ventured d5 in a tournament game. In the few occasions that I played the Nimzovich, I always played like d4, d6, which is a little more fluid, not giving white that immediate spatial advantage. And if you're not losing the center here, I mean, I'm threatening e5. I presume he's going to try to do like knight h5 or something. He'll have the two bishops, but his pawn structure is a little bit mangled. Interesting position. It's not really, you know, a position that he's accustomed to playing, I would think. You think Saruman is annoying? Well, I don't know about Anna Rudolph, but Saruman, I mean, Anna Rudolph may have an annoying voice. I never, yeah, maybe, but Saruman's kind of soothing, I think. Okay, king f2. Well, obviously I'm going to play e5. I might as well just play it now. Or not. Where do I want the rest of my pieces to go? I most certainly have to castle queenside. Okay, his white square bishop is pretty strong. But now his king position is, well, it's obviously hazy, you know. I wasn't even considering trying to win a pawn here with like knight h5, bishop takes d4. I mean, my concern is my development in this position and making sure that my king is safe. But Nefedov, maybe he's better off not being materialistic, you know, in other words, than playing knight h5, because I don't know if I'm really going to take that pawn. Maybe he's going to bail out and play some knight retreat. But I mean, black should have really good play against the white king. Maybe the white king will be more exposed than the black king ultimately. Here I can even play queen d6 to avoid giving up my bishop on h5 if I want to. But I don't know if I can survive very long. I mean, he'll just play bishop g5 next. And ultimately, you know, I'm going to have to take. So the white king is not really safe. Queen d6 looks like a good move. Preparing to complete my development. Castle queenside to safety while the white king is out in the middle of the African jungle there. It looks like pretty wild territory there, Nefedov. I mean, I don't know if I trust my king on f2. But I'm getting out of here. You want to see a smothered mate? Not happening. I don't know if I realistically have serious attacking chances against his king, but in the long run, I definitely do. You know, like immediate attacking chances, maybe not. So queen b3. Forcing me to make the move I wanted to make anyway. Was he looking for some kind of weird sacrifice on a6? I mean, I'm not really worried about that. This position is pretty random for white. Bishop g5, and now I was hoping for bishop h6. It's a good deal. Undeveloped bishop for developed bishop. Plus he has dark square weaknesses. In any moment, I mean, e4 is going to be really scary. But I didn't miss a tactic there. Queen c5 check. Was that just strong? Fortunately, I don't have too much time. This looks, yeah, this is just really strong. h2 is hanging. Okay, there may not be an immediate forced win, but it's just not healthy for white. He has no queenside development. The king is out in the wild. It's just very, very bad. No immediate win. I can start collecting some material. Or do I have an immediate win with the e3 check? Well, he can run away. e3 check closes down some lines. Man, this looks really strong. This has got to be lost for white. So, where did we leave book? I mean, is bishop b5 just not good? Nobody plays that. It's not such a bad move, but it seems strategically wrong. Bishop d3, challenging the strong b, is the most popular, but not necessarily best. I still like knight f3, bishop e2. f4 is a move. Alright guys, let's go on. We've got a lot of challenges. I'm going to play... Ananas is a subscriber, right? This is a subscriber. SXPG, are you a subscriber? I don't know. I don't think he's a subscriber, is he? Big blunder. So, obviously I know Yasser and Anna Rudolph. I helped Anna Rudolph make her final IM norm by... Well, I didn't help her as much as I could have helped her, but I didn't beat her. It was funny because she offered me a draw like in this tournament in 2011. She was trying to make a norm. She had a good score, and she offered me a draw like before the game, and I was like, you know what? I really want to play. So I declined her like draw offer and played for a win. But it was like a funny thing that happened. Like I don't know. Oh, what am I gonna do? I was better than I was like lost, and And then like right at the end in this king and pawn game or something, she messed it up and it was a draw. It was just horrible. G3. I forgot I'm playing Ananas. He's so solid with white in this Catalan stuff. Maybe I would have played the... Well, what are we going to do on like C5? C5, D5. That's not really my repertoire. I guess I have to play bishop b4 check. This is really my only move in this position. I've tried knight c6 against Attila Turzo last year in the Hungarian team championship, and it was just... It was a nightmare. Turzo tortured me and I barely drew. Did I see your message? Probably not. SXPG is not a subscriber. So, Ananas is Russian. I thought it was German. It's everything. It's everything. What is it originally? Is it like Latin? That would explain a lot. But it can't be Latin and Russian. Alright, bishop g2. Bishop d2. That was one of my last tournaments before. That was in like 2011. I played Anna Rudolph. I had a terrible tournament where I like lost my first 2 games. It was like a nightmare blunder in game 1 in a winning position. Then I was so depressed I went on tilt and lost the second game. Then I had to play down -2. I was like the strongest player in the tournament. It was like an IM tournament. I was so pissed off, losing my first 2 games. D6 here, bishop, let's see, queen a4 check, no. I played something like this against Igor Foigl. I think I played knight c6 against him. Any other subscribers with a challenge? Yeah, maybe. Ayeste and Haberbaum. Wika says it's a Latin word. The Russians just borrowed it. Yeah, well, the Russians probably borrowed it from everybody else. We just borrow, the Hungarians just borrow all kinds of words here. They've got a language made up of a lot of different conglomeration of stuff. I mean, there's basic Hungarian, but there's also a lot of words that have been kind of inherited from other languages too, like that one. The market pineapple is ananas. Speaking of Portuguese, there's a good open in Portugal going on. I guess it must be getting near the end of the tournament now. Over the years, I never really remembered seeing such a strong field in you know, they had like a Lisbon Open, but never was really strong. But tons of players from all over the place playing at this tournament, and I don't know where it is. I just like would guess it's in Lisbon, but I just saw Portugal Open. Knight f3, and we're going to transpose to a normal bogo, but my knight's on c6. So I don't really play, this is like a queen e7 variation, except I haven't played queen e7, which is really funky. Maybe I can profit from not playing queen e7. Queen e7 always struck me as a move I didn't really like, you know, because it just feels like boxed in. That's how I ended up making 2 moves in a famous game against this English guy at Hastings. He played the black side of a queen e7 bogo, and it was like move 8, and his queen was on e7, and he played d6, and he was taking forever on all of his moves. He was spending like 10 minutes on every single move, and it was, you know, like 40 and 2 hours time control. And something happened, like I wasn't drinking and there was no kind of substance. It was just totally a crazy hallucination. The guy was sitting there and he has queen on e7, and then he plays d6, and then I don't know. It's like his turn, but he's thinking forever. It was like 20 minutes on one move, and somehow I was walking around and I decided he made his move, and I sat down and I started thinking, and I thought for like a good 7 or 8 minutes, and I made my move, you know. And the guy started to freak out. He's like, "What are you doing?" I said, "What do you mean? I'm making my move." He's like, "It's not your turn." I was like, "Oh snap, that's embarrassing." I just moved like 2 times in a row. Like, I'm not even drinking, or, you know, it was ridiculous. But it was a bogo with queen e7, and I guess that was like what tricked me. And I guess I thought he moved his queen to e7. It was like this move that you don't even really think about. Like, it's there, but it's not really relevant. And I never wanted to play this. I think for that reason, just the queen just doesn't seem to do anything on e7. It's just like ugly and blocked in. But I think there was a second incidence where I actually moved twice in a row, but it wasn't as funny. It just kind of happened quickly, and I was like, "Oh yeah, sorry." I was going to try to make a second move, but the situation wasn't as dramatic. Interesting move, rook c1 from Ananas. I played a similar plan against Alexander Goldine with white once. He's not playing e4. Now you're making me want to play queen e7, ironically. Maybe I should just go e5. I'm gonna have to play e5 anyway at some point. The guy sat there forever. It was ridiculous. Every single move. He was like a 2250, an old man who was probably a FIDE master. This happened like 20 years ago. I was probably like 25 at the time. I just, even younger, I don't know. But anyways, I just remember walking around and just deciding that he made his move. You know, I must have thought he played queen e7. It was very strange, though. I mean, I was obviously aware of the opening, and queen e7 is a normal move in the Bogo Indian. But for whatever reason, you know, the mind plays tricks on you sometimes. I was sitting there for 7 or 8 minutes, you know, before I made my move. Like, his clock was running, not mine. And then when I guess I went to press the clock, I must have, like, realized, like, you know, like my clock wasn't running. But anyway, figured, oh, the old man forgot to press his clock or something. But the funny part of the story, you know, was what happened after. Like, I crushed him. It was a brilliant game. I played, like, absolutely like a genius. But Charlie Hurtan, who's an American FIDE master, wrote this article for Chess Chow magazine, which was a kind of humorous chess magazine. Later on, Charlie's angle on the game was that, like, basically doing this stupid thing where I forgot whose move it was made me look like an idiot, you know, and so it caused the opponent to underestimate me. This was basically his theory, was that, like, you know, making 2s in a row, making myself look like an idiot was like a brilliant trick on my part to force the opponent, or encourage the opponent to underestimate me. Anyway, we're about to lose on time here, so we're going to play queen e7. It's your turn. Ananas is really blasting out the moves, dude. Putting the time pressure on me. He's playing so fast. This is kind of a standard type of position. Oh, that's not good. A3? A3 might be a serious positional mistake. Okay, Petrosian. What would Hurtan do? I don't like b6, but I'm running out of time. He's going to flag me. It's like world loser. There's this one guy who plays on the stream, or hasn't recently, but used to a lot. And his plan is to, like, try to get me low on time so I make a mistake. So he doesn't really try to play, like, the best moves. He's just constantly trying to be practical. It seems like Ananas has converted to They just move real fast and try to get people to lose on time strategy. Like a3 is a really, really bad move for white. But I already had to make some concessions. Like, I don't really like playing b6. This is probably a mistake, but I felt I needed more time to calculate. I think Ananas is being practical. We've got a spatial disadvantage on the king side, but I played this line with white a lot, and I know these sort of attacks with like f4, g4, g5, f5, they tend not to be that effective because, speaking of Yasser Serwan, Petrosian played black a lot in these lines. The attack isn't that strong because it's like a King's Indian where you don't have the dark squared bishop to like sacrifice on h6 or something like that. Hopefully he'll play g4. I could play h6 and then knight h7. I'm in very bad time pressure, but well, knight b4. Getting weirder and weirder around here. Okay, it's admittedly hard for both sides to do anything. It's a defensive system for black. I mean, Petrosian was mostly happy to draw in these kind of lines where his opponent was, you know, relatively strong master or grandmaster. It's not designed to be like black's going out for the win here. I mean, I'm just playing a solid structure. The space advantage compensates for white's kind of bad bishop. That's a good maneuver. Actually pretty common in these type of lines. Oh, I'm going to drop that pawn. Take pawns, don't drop them. That sounds like a bumper sticker. Oh no. If you must drink and drive, drink Pepsi. That was my high school art teacher's like bumper sticker. We're back in business. Time is not enough. Small threat. All right. I mean, at the height of its might, the White Empire had a significant slight edge, but I was a little dubious about my decision to play b6. Wow, this is an actual position from 2 games. Speaking of Petrosian, we have Petrosian the Lesser. Arshak Petrosian, Armenian Grandmaster, played this position in 1995 against a relatively average German FM with the draw. You know, it's basically designed to be a solid system for black. Knight b1 there is recommended by the engine as #1 move. But I don't like the fact that white played a3. This was a bad move. Here Varga Peter and Horvath Jula. Jula Horvath 2480. Huh. The engine actually likes a3. Wow, that is weird. I don't like b6. I wanted to play like c6, queen d8, and queen b6 and try to get on the dark squares. But the engine likes our a3, b6. Okay. But it looks like this is about equal in my opinion, if white just doesn't do anything. After I play b6, I don't have any breaks anymore, really, just f5. So I'm going to play the rest of the challengers who are subscribers, Ayesta and Haberblum. Play too fast. So you read that Petrosian had weak hearing, so he'd use a hearing aid? That's going to be a problem when you offer the guy a draw. You have to like make hand signals like, hey. Sometimes, I think one of the Vietnamese grandmasters used to do this. This guy's 2,700 now. Win Wok Tronkson, I think that's how you pronounce it. 3-syllable name or 3-word name. So he would always do this, like, you know, cross sword sign when he wanted to draw. He would, you know, he didn't know how to, or he didn't like to speak. I guess he would do that, you know, make a little sign with his fingers. I guess that's what you have to do with Petrosian. Petrosian. I guess that I don't want to play Sicilian. I'm bored of that Rossolimo thing. You're driving me crazy with that. All right. What else can we do? We'll play Caro-Kann. I adjust, or say I adjust and adjust only your opponent's pieces. Yeah, I've heard of people doing stuff like that. The most annoying is when like people adjust the pieces on your time, or try to do something like that. It's like totally wrong. If you're going to adjust pieces, you should do it on your time, on your own time. What is the single most annoying thing that people can do? Other than kicking my feet under the chair, probably spinning the pawns, like in your line of vision. I would rank number 1. Alright, have we been here before? In the old days, g4 was considered to be like just a bad move. I have some Caro-Kann books that even give it like a dubious. But it appears that some, with the aid of like modern engines and stuff, some players have started to play this again. Petrosian. I never get Aronian right, and I give up. Now g4 and c4. That looks a little bit odd. Wow. Definitely looks like you're going too far. How can you do g4 and c4? It's like randomly playing g4 in the Slav. It's like, it's a Slav, and the guy's just like, I'm going to play g4, just randomly. c4 very much transitions to Slav type positions. I was actually working with one of my students the other day. He was playing the c4 variation. And there are even some positions that can literally transpose to, after bishop f5. This can literally transpose. A funny memory clicked back for me when I was like a beginner. I played in a tournament back in 1987 or 86, I don't remember, and I was just in my like second or third tournament ever, and the guy played c4, and when I was going over this game with one of my students this week, I remembered like there was this game I played bishop takes b1 because I was so excited to win material. Bishop takes b1, rook takes b1, queen a5 check, and queen takes a2. And I almost got my queen trapped. And it was just a nightmare. Even like computers from the 80s were like, you're -3 pawns or something. But I managed to draw the game, but it was just funny. Remembering something from 30 years ago. So g4, yeah. Okay, my bishop is kind of embarrassing on d7, but I'll take that. You know, it's not so bad. I mean, I could play h5. It's definitely worthy of consideration, but my gut instinct is telling me that that is not the best way to proceed. What is the best way to proceed, though? It's not that obvious. The bishop on d7 does take away my knight's ability to go to d7, which is kind of, admittedly, an inconvenience. Is e6 possibly the wrong move? It's not impossible. But I mean, I just don't have too many options here. Literally, I mean, what am I going to do? c5? Takes on c4? What does that do? Doesn't seem like you have too many options. Okay. Well, I'm going to bite the bullet and play this. For lack of other options. I said g4 was weird, and it is, but my bishop on d7 is pretty bad too. Interesting. Maybe this is even a known system for white, for all I know. Huh. h5. h5, g5, and then white still has a really big space advantage. Now, something seems like I did something wrong here. I don't really like this. I don't have very much space. Strange. What else could I do, though? You know, it's very weird. Very weird. So g4 starts to make sense somehow. If I take, bishop takes, knight d5, knight e4, my bishop on d7 is just ridiculous. This looks bad for black. Alright, maybe I'll play h5, just try to blockade the position. But I don't like this. This is wrong for black. I didn't know this was a real line, like c4 after g4, bishop d7. Wow. There must be some secret move that I'm missing here. I don't know if he should push or take or what he should do here, actually. He could even play like bishop h3. It's like the Kyrie's attack. I hope you show how to deal with this variation. This is a variation. Well, you know, I was having this discussion with Nefedov about pronouncing Alyakin's name, and, you know, he made an interesting point as a Russian speaker that people would actually pronounce Alyakin's name differently depending on, like, their class level. You know, some would actually say Alekin, and some would say Alyakin. Like, it could even depend on like your economic class level, how you pronounce something. So I don't know. Pronouncing that name is another problem altogether, more complicated. If you're not a native Russian speaker, it's obviously difficult. It's a kind of strange name. But I say it differently all the time. Alekhine. Alekhine's defense. I like to say Alekhine's defense because that's kind of how random pedestrians say the name of the opening who don't know any better. The Americanized version. Spinal Tap, what's up? The Caro can't. Spinal Tap, what am I doing? What is this? g4? g4, bishop d7. I know there's other moves. Like you can go bishop e4 and then back to g6, but Spinal Tap, I need your help. What am I doing? Like, I thought c4 was like a ridiculous move for white here, but the more I look at it, I'm like, oh my god, my position sucks. I thought this is like the Slav where white's gone g4 randomly, but actually it looks problematic for black. So I guess I'm learning the hard way that this is a legitimate system for white. This looks awful. Can't say I'm a big fan of knight h4 though. That looks strange. It may turn out to be a very special and good move, but on the surface it looks strange. I can take and play knight f5. I'm not sure that's good. Why don't I take on c4? He's got knight e4, smothered mates. I know you guys want to see a smothered mate. He's got no way to defend the knight on h4. If I were to take on c4 and play like knight d5, his knight can go back to g2 and hold on to the pawn on h5. I'm running out of time again every darn game. Take, take, take. How am I going to get my b8 knight into the game without the ridiculous knight a6 idea? This is really disturbing. Knight c8. You can never go wrong with a knight on c8. Just ask Prohashka, Hungarian Grandmaster. His favorite idea in the Caro-Kann is going here. It's like insipid. I can't possibly put a knight on c8 unless I'm, you know, there's no other move that doesn't lose a piece. I really don't want to do that. He would do it routinely in the Caro-Kann, like advanced variation. I refuse to put my knight on c8. This one is bad enough. But white is just clearly better here. g5. Okay. Special variation for white. And this position is just a nightmare. Don't do this at home. I am busted completely. Clear advantage for white. Lucky if I don't lose in just a few moves here. Such a space advantage, you can't possibly create this without trying. I can't believe he did that. Giving away most of his advantage with impulsive move. I'd like to not take, but I don't imagine I can live with that there. Houston, we have a problem on time. I can go like knight b4. Oh man, that's a good move. Man, he won't fall for it. No one ever falls for my tactical tricks. I guess they're playing really, really well. Maybe I can go after the d4 pawn. Winning ugly, at best. Maybe this is a stupid move. Definitely this is a stupid move. Why did I do that? Can I sack the exchange? I finally just blundered. But still, it's not that easy for me. How do I break through? So there's like no way to break through. I have no pawn break. Nah, I don't know how to win this. I mean, maybe there's a way, but tied down to f7, it's just too hard. Computer can claim all at once that I'm like plus 1.4, but I don't see a plan how to win with black. I mean, something involving b4 and forcing him to play like a takes b4. Maybe I can sack the pawn and then infiltrate along the a file with my bishop on b3. Like play this at the right moment and then play like rook a8 and a3. I don't know. Just too hard. Really horrible opening for me. See, this happened, like this became a variation when I wasn't playing chess. Actually, it goes back to 2003, some old games. c4. This looks very unpleasant. Look at white's score. In the main variation with e6, 55% for white, 36% for black, no draws. King job was to attack b2. Bishop should guard f7. Yeah, I guess, but I mean, I would have had to get my king to b3 somehow. Yeah, I guess if I had enough time. Dude, Stockfish, check it out. Stockfish is immediately finding like a novelty here with c5. I mean, if I can play c5, that revolutionizes this whole variation. Like, it changes everything. I mean, this is the kind of move that I want to play. Not a single game with c5. And here it is. It says it's playable. If I can play c5, I'm playing it. But what's the trick? Like, so c takes d, obviously. Holy crap. Can you do this? So e6. Wow. The idea is bishop c6 down the line. Maybe not immediately. Maybe immediately. There's a problem though. Take bishop c4 check. Okay, this is very complicated, but it may be an interesting resource for black. If I have a way to play without my bishop getting permanently stuck on d7, then I will definitely play that in the future. No one has dared to try this, but after this and bishop takes e6, wow. I was expecting f takes. So white is kind of a little bit overextended here for the cost of a pawn. It's quite an interesting gambit. Okay, we'll have to take a look at that in the laboratory. But I would be willing to try this for black. c5 looks like a really interesting move. Look, how far did we go? So I immediately made a mistake. Now I'm definitely supposed to play c5. Knight f3 is not a normal move. They always play knight c3. And then knight e7 has a horrible score. Black has to play c5 somehow. I don't care how you do it, but you've got to play c5. This was played in 2 games, Anand and Burmakin. Burmakin is a solid player. We played blackjack together. c5. Yeah. Alright, anyway, stuff to look at. So, we had one more subscriber challenge from Heberbaum. And we will take that now. Interesting game, man. I'm glad you played this line because I wasn't really aware of c4. I don't play the Caro-Kann in tournaments. I just kind of play it randomly on an occasional basis. So I don't know all the lines, but that's a serious problem. I know a bad position when I get one, and that was a bad position. Spinal Tap was watching. Spinal Tap, do you play that line with black? Did you see the c5 I just looked at? Because that might actually be a good move. Don't tell anyone about that. May have discovered a relatively vital novelty for black. Guys, next stream will be Sunday. It's 7 p.m. No, sorry, 6:30 p.m. CET. Sunday simul at 6:30. 40 players, 40-40 time control. 30 players, 40-40 time control. I'm a little confused. Haberbaum is playing King's Indian and/or Grunfeld. Cool. Okay, let's try something different here that I don't normally play. You know the c5 idea. So that would be a novelty to play c5 immediately. And Stockfish claims it's okay. But I'm playing it if I can. I don't want to suffer with my bishop on d7. I thought we'll try this. Hikaru likes to play this. Hikaru. likes to play this queen a4 check, and there's some interesting games with this. I don't think it's that good for white, but you know, a lot of top players are looking for new ideas all the time. Variations like this that are a little off the beaten track. Of course, black can also play, and I don't really understand what's wrong with it, black can also play c5 on move 6. So he played, what, knight d7. Okay, this is like the main line. Hikaru had a lot of games with Vacher in this position. They had like 4 battles, but Hikaru plays a weird line, like some queen a3 very early for white. Maybe even right away. Insists on playing that, but that's pretty strange. Okay, what did I decide here? Well, there is this knight c5 type of trick. Thus queen a3. What am I trying to remember now? Bishop g5. I mean, I guess knight c5 isn't good right away. I'm in good shape today. I don't know, man. I'm a little I'm a little slow. Maybe my game is okay, but I'm really, really slow. I haven't played enough blitz this week, like fast blitz. I need to play more. I need to play more like 5-0, 3-0 games, but I need more free time to do that. Okay, I guess I was looking at this. It's also possible for white to play like bishop g5 instead of bishop e2. I'm not really certain which is better. And here black has a whole mess of moves. Knight b6, a6, queen c7. I think the main line is c takes d, but then white sacks the exchange. Maybe in this position we sack the exchange? That doesn't seem bad. C takes d, knight c5, d takes c, bishop takes... Is this the right position? I feel like I'm thinking of the wrong position to sack the exchange. But I don't know what options I would have. Like, what other options do I have after c takes d, knight c5? I don't see how I can sack the exchange here. This is a move. But what was I looking at? So I guess you can play pretty much everything. Queen a3, queen b3. Oh, I hung a pawn. Orshit said what? In the middle of the night? Oh, nice. Thanks for the compliment, man. You know, that's natural. I can't help it. C takes d4, c takes d4. But I mean, seriously, like in the last position, queen a3, after c takes d, knight c5, attacking e4. If I make a routine move, he has knight e6. Like, what am I missing there? Knight c5. Black's going to play knight e6 with a triple attack on d4. Or maybe I can play something like queen b4. No, that drops a pawn. I don't know. So c takes d4, c takes d4, knight c5. I'll have to look it up after the game. I really don't understand. Knight b6 I thought was was the right move, but it's possible I'm getting these variations confused. There's bishop e2 and there's bishop g5, and they're slightly different. And I'm thinking that the exchange sacrifice variation must be in the line with bishop g5, because white needs more development to sack the exchange. This is my first time playing this line, obviously. You can guess, because I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Don't you have queen e7 once he grabs your pawn? I'm not worried about that. I was just joking. I was just joking about bishop takes d4. This is like the bringer of doom. I would trade my right arm for that piece, let alone like sacrifice a pawn. I was just kind of kidding around. Bishop e6. I was hoping he would play bishop takes d4. We had all sorts of moves, like rook d1 probably wins immediately. Well, almost. But anyway, it's just really good for white. Now we have bishop g5 to shut down the bringer of doom. It looks logical to develop a piece. If he plays f6, it looks like one of the board 11 or board 12 in my team tournament this last weekend. This position was like f6, bishop f7. This old guy got in a Grunfeld. I was like, dude, what are you doing? Your bishop is on g7. White had this beautiful center, e4, d4, and black sitting there with like f6, g6, bishop g7, bishop f7. I mean, it just doesn't look very appealing for black to play f6 and block your Grunfeld bishop on g7. So rook e8 is more like aggressive, but I have bishop e5. Bishop b5 may not do anything special. Bishop d7, and then we just have like a very small edge. I'd rather not exchange pieces if I can help it. I guess rook c1 makes the most sense. Denying him. You know, come to think of it, he can play like bishop g4 maybe? Alright, well. We don't have a lot of time, and I've been getting in time pressure all my games. He could even play rook c8, but then I have queen takes a7. Okay, there's a lot of calculation. If I can take the pawn on a7 or not. It's just totally, this line though, it's totally playable. If you want something easy to play against the Grunfeld, queen a4. One of my students said that John Watson recommended in some book that he wrote about playing a repertoire book with like d4. I guess there's relatively like not that much theory to learn. Yeah, I thought about bishop g4, but I thought, well, okay, fine. Now I can play d5. Okay, he's induced me to make my pawn structure kind of inflexible, more static, but still the d pawn remains quite strong, I would think, unless he can play f5. I mean, this is the typical battle in the Grunfeld, like strong pawn in the center versus queenside majority. There's nothing tremendously exciting going on here. Wow, e6. Taking the bull by the horns. h3, take, 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 take. We can do the h3 take 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 variation. I mean, it's like simple and easy to play. for lack of a better idea. I mean, pushing d6 looks possible, but risky. But I think that hyperbomb is okay here. You know, this is kind of a classic isolate the pawn. He's got good bishop. I have a passed pawn, but he can try to blockade it. I'm not in love with his knight on b6. That piece would like to be on a better square, but this move looks like he's losing his mind. I mean, thematically, you want to undermine the structure with f5, but in this instance, it looks like he's just gone nuts. Like, there's no white square bishop on the board, so the whole thing just melts down like a nuclear reaction. Like, I'm going to just kill him with the white square bishop here. So f5 is like catastrophic nuclear meltdown. You can't afford to do that after you traded your white square bishop off. You have to just take on d5 here and take on d5, and you play against that. You try to blockade that passed pawn, man. I mean, on the dark squares, it doesn't look so easy for me. I think that black is okay. Now everything is just hanging. I mean, all of his white square pawns. I don't need that. That pawn. Okay, he may not be that bad. Because I don't have bishop takes g6. He has rook takes e6. Queen b3 is possible. Queen b3 is pretty strong. Now he basically just like loses his queen side for nothing. He's lost all of his pawns. I mean, knight d5 was too fancy. How bad was it to play rook takes e6? Was there some problem? Why you can't play this? I have queen b3. I see. So I have queen b3. Ah, that's painful. And then I take your knight. And then I have bishop d5. Shit, so he can't take it. Good eye. I mean, he realized like he can't take on e6. But it's lost anyway. I have e7 and... Okay, he lost the game in one move. I mean, it's a pity, but I mean, what are you going to do? f5 is just... You got to have a sense that that's your weak color complex because you don't have a white square bishop. You sold your white square bishop. How bad is the position before f5? Probably not too bad. If we look here, the engine's giving me a solid plus. But as I said time and time again, Stockfish particularly overvalues bishops. So every time I have the bishop pair, it's like it seems like it's exaggerating by like half a pawn or something. I think they programmed the value of the two bishops like too high. I wouldn't think I was like plus 0.7, maybe like 0.3 or something here. But he can try to blockade my pawn. I mean, it doesn't seem like this is so bad for black. This is game over. Why not rook d1? What, did I have a simpler move? Oh, I play queen b3. Okay, just rook d1. Yeah, okay. This is good too, but rook d1 is better. Yeah. All right. Sometimes I miss obvious moves. People were like, there was this guy like 2 weeks ago who said I was trolling him. I didn't see a mate in 2, you know. I mean, I would be like 2600 if I saw everything. And actually, I'd be 27. But SXPG, Tushar, now we're down to no more subscriber challenges. So I'll try to play as many of you guys as I can. I have to finish around 12:15. A little early today. Yeah, rook d1 was game over. Good eye, guys. I was fascinated with the cheapo, like queen b3, knight takes e3, e7 check. I was trying for that winning his queen idea. But my way is almost as good as rook d1. Maybe more fun. Nevertheless, I should have seen it. SXPG, he's pretty fast, I think. All right. Let's just play a normal open Sicilian. I haven't played the white side of a Najdorf in a while. Try to play f3 here, the Zoltan Varga variation. You know what's like shocking? That no one has ever actually played this against me. Now he transposes to the dragon, which is fine. I like playing the dragon. I've looked at both variations, bishop c4 and queen d2 in the past. I guess I'm in the mood for queen d2. Carlsen versus Gawain Jones. I've played both bishop c4 and queen d2. Karpov Miles. It's been a long time since I played this for white, though. Kind of forget what I'm doing. You can always play the prophylactic move king b1, but... Or you can transpose to the normal Yugoslav attack with bishop c4. Tizia Gara beat my friend. A friend of mine lost to Tizia in I think she played like g4 or something really early in this line. I don't know what I feel like playing here. g4. G4 is good. H4 is possible. Have I seen the DVD from Simon Williams? No. You might be next. No, I'm removing you from the list. I'm just trolling you. No, I just like... Trolling people. Tibor Tolnai, Hungarian Grandmaster. I guess it was this position, or maybe like in the previous position, bishop takes g4. Tolnai worked a lot with the old international master who passed away from a car accident in the 90s, Bela Pereni Bela. They analyzed a lot of dragon stuff together. This bishop takes g4 idea is tricky, but it's probably not quite good enough. But Tolnai won some games. He won one famous game with like bishop takes g4. But I don't know if it was this position or in the previous position where the bishop hasn't gone to d7 yet. I can't remember. Rook c8. Rook c8 is kind of unusual. I mean, I think normally you have like knight takes d4, bishop takes d4, but his bishop's on the wrong square here. Actually, come to think of it, I've done this for black, and it's been bad. His bishop should be on e6. That's Karpov Miles, actually. I just realized that if we play this position, but if we put his bishop on e6, we have the game Karpov versus Miles, which is a very famous endgame. Miles choosing to play bishop e6 rather than knight takes d4, bishop takes d4, and bishop e6, which is like a more traditional move order. It just transposed into a normal line. But SXPG is playing rook c8. The normal plan is to do like queen a5 and rook fc8, and he's going rook ac8. which is like a normal looking move, but maybe there's some drawbacks to this. I don't play this opening enough to have it like committed to memory, really. I would need to start studying the dragon again. I mean, king b1 or h4 are really the only moves I'm considering here. What else can I play? I mean, I don't know that king b1 is even necessary, but if he's going to play queen a5 in one moment, it might come in handy. The thing about the bishop on e6 is that in these type of variations, it's I'm not a dragon expert, I'm a accelerated dragon expert. I don't really play the dragon, man. I mean, I play it like, I've played it by accident like once or twice with black. It's a different opening. I mean, I don't play the black side of the regular dragon. I play with lines where white is castling king side. I'm no dragon expert, and with white I've played a few games, but I don't have that many. I'm not really an e4 player. I'm more of a d4 player. The accelerated dragon and the regular dragon are completely different openings. I mean, in most lines of the accelerated dragon, I'm not getting into these crazy double-edged positions where there's insane attacking and you have to memorize like 35 moves of theory. I mean, that's something I never was really that interested in. But I have a couple games in this successfully with white. I've beaten some people in different sort of dragon lines, but I mean, my experience is limited. You only have 20 minutes left, so I may not be able to play after all. A6 is slow. Looks really slow. So I think we're just hacking away here. I mean, this starts to look very good for white. Just the straightforward. You know, you might even be able to do some crazy stuff with like 92. Maybe black can still try to sacrifice a piece, so like bishop takes g4, but I mean, you only get 2 pawns for a piece. Bishop h6 allows stuff like knight takes to e4, knight takes to e4. I don't even know if that's good for black, though. Of course, I can simply play g5 with a space advantage. Actually, taking on h5 is interesting as well. I don't know. I'm no dragon expert. Bishop h6, knight takes d4. Bishop takes g7. Knight takes f3 looks good for black. Maybe I'll just take and try to open the position. His knight is a bit out of play on h5. You're last in the list, Serbian Santa Claus. You're up to 2440 now. He says he's not an IM. His rating's getting higher and higher. All right, knight h5. could simply play like 92, avoiding exchanges, but then 95 is the problem. Not really sure. I guess I wanted to play knight d5. Maybe I should just play knight takes c6 and bishop h6. Play this position. But actually I can't do that. I just don't have much time. Okay, it depends on how he recaptures. If bishop takes, I can play bishop h6. If rook takes, I have to play like knight e5 or something. Pawn takes is also probably bishop h6. But I'm not really thrilled with what I got here. I don't understand something weird about this whole line, like a6. He's playing very slowly. After h4, h5, he can just do that. Rook takes knight to d5. I don't want to let him play like bishop takes c3. He's very, very fast. Yet 1500 in blitz. Black seems to have a reasonable position. I guess I prefer white, but I don't think that it's a big advantage what I have. Some advantage. Not a very like exciting position with a crushing direct attack. He's sort of stopped it with h5. Yeah, I mean, knight d5 looks good, but I mean, it doesn't seem like black is in dire straits here. But maybe it's just like hard for black to find counterplay. I'm curious after the game to see like who left, you know, who left the main line where, because I don't know. I'm not really that excited about my position, and a6 looks like a ridiculously slow move for black. So, it's strange. So, I mean, I felt like I did everything right, and I didn't have any other choices, really. But once he played h5, I was kind of like, I don't feel like closing the king side with g5. I mean, maybe that's the recommended thing to do, but maybe I could do something crazy, like sacrificing a pawn. You may have to withdraw your challenge. Yeah, guys, I think I have time for like 2 more games, probably. Okay, I'm not going to play this 5-0. There's only 3 challenges. I'll try to play as many as I can of the remaining challenges. Guys, Simo on Sunday. What's SXPG doing here? He's played so quickly, now he's thinking. I mean, knight g3, for example, it's probably not great. I wonder what I should do. Maybe like rook h2 there, oddly enough. Keep my rook on the h file. Knight g3, rook h2, so that I can use both rooks on the king side. Although rook g1 should be good too, actually. Yeah, rook g1, knight takes f1, rook takes f1. It's just a really strong attack. Bishop b6 probably one of his best moves. We need like Karpov-ish technique. Bishop e6 is a tremendous move. That's absolutely best. I was even messing around with knight b4 in my mind. The bishop on e6 is really strong. This is kind of a weird move, but I'm running out of time. Just degenerated into an absolute blitz game. 8+3. He challenged me to 8+3, by the way. That's too long. We do the maximum of 7+3, but I didn't even pick it off. Alright, GG Helis. I'm sorry you can't play. We'll get to these last two challenges. Tushar and Santa Claus. And that'll be it for today. What's he doing? Bishop takes, queen takes. Looks like now we have choices. I mean, pawn takes is good to avoid losing a tempo, but there may be some downsides to that as well. Rook takes g6. I'll have to sack the exchange there. See, not your average 1700. He came up with a lot of counterplay. I mean, right up to the end, I'm not sure. The very end, I'm obviously like crushing. But it looks like here, in short of time, he played the crazy bishop c3. But at this point, it looks like it's about chances for both sides. I don't know who's better. Again, I don't really trust Stockfish, but it's claiming black's a tiny bit better. I do think that the pressure here along the c-line is really nasty. But the theory of this is mysterious to me. g4 is main line. Rook c8 is actually main line. I played king b1. h4 is slightly more common. Sasha Kiran against Computer, 2015. There's a Strapunsky Nakamura game. Alright. King b1. Then he played a6. This is definitely not right. So he's supposed to play knight e5 or queen a5. And then I don't know what to do. Like h4, what else? And he plays h5, and there's only 2 games. This is very, very unusual. Yeah, so the computer says like knight takes c6 and g5 or g5. It doesn't seem that bad for black, actually. It's a little bit passive, but yeah. Just that I don't really want to do this and close all the lines. Then you can't get a normal kingside attack going, but I guess that's what the best thing to do is. These guys also took on They also took on h5 like me. And what, rook g1, was that my move? No, I took on c6 here. Stockfish says knight takes c6 may be better than rook g1. Interesting, it's a very rare line. I mean, that's what I ended up doing. I didn't know what to do, but strange and playable for black. Wow, like suddenly I got all these challenges. Where did these challenges come from? What is this? You guys just all challenged me? I just had 2 challenges a minute ago. I've got to go in like 20 minutes, guys, so I'm taking these last 2. Yeah, Soltigo, sorry. I got to leave early today on Friday. We'll play later, buddy. E4. We'll play another Caro-Kann. I'm just going to take this. Oh, man, I'll just do it later. All right, I can only play 1 more game max. Actually, these are long time controls. Let's refresh the page. On Fridays, I have a lot of stuff like right after the stream, so I have to stop a little bit early. Usually I'm streaming 2.5 hours, but 2 hours and 15 minutes, kind of my max here. So these guys I'm going to cancel. I really appreciate everyone watching. Let's play a GF Caro for something interesting. I showed this to a student yesterday who's a relative beginner, and he was surprised, you know, that this is actually a normal thing that maybe strong players would play. And yes, it's a risky variation for black, but you've got to do things to dynamize the game if you want to win against good players. It's not so easy. Routine moves are not necessarily enough. That position I'm not sure about, actually. I think I lost some games in my life with bishop g4, come to think of it. And it's interesting how you approach things from a different perspective later on in life. How your perspective changes. Now here, I don't mind the triple pawns in this position. I mean, this is... Triple isolated pawns in this particular position are completely okay. I'm just kidding, of course. Tushar may not know the theory. This is actually not a theoretical position. I don't think that bishop d3 is so common here for white, because it is my bad b. The idea is, of course, bishop takes f5, queen a5 check. We're just having a little bit of fun. Let's get the pieces out. The point of bishop d6 is to circumvent him from playing bishop f4, it's a really annoying defensive mechanism when there's an open g file. I didn't even consider this move. Rook g8, queen takes h7, rook takes g2. Let's try it. At the end of the day, his pawn structure is going to be like more destroyed than mine. But it's interesting and playable. What is that? Why is that yellow? What the hell is that? That's my last move? I didn't allow that setting to show my last move as like a colored. What the hell? Why did it start doing that? I don't want my last move to be yellow. I did not change any settings, lichess. What are you doing? You've like sent back some default settings. Didn't do that the whole stream, right? Why is it making that yellow? Make that go away. It's ugly. Tushar reached a career high bullet rating. Well, queen takes h7, rook takes g2. Any check will be met by king e7, and my king is relatively safe. He goes for this. Wow. Okay. I might have to sack the exchange here. That's some pretty crazy calculation. I don't mind if I have to sack the exchange, I sack the exchange. But I'm a whole exchange down. I definitely didn't anticipate king f1. I mean, wow. He's got every single square controlled. He's had winning positions against me twice already. This is probably the third one. In the 8 games that we played. I couldn't calculate that far ahead with the amount of time that I used. But now looking at the position, I guess I'm in clear danger. He didn't see the idea, trapping my rook. Nevertheless, this still looks like a kind of dangerous move. I wonder about bishop f8. Is that too dangerous? I mean, this is my chance to not lose material. f5 is too risky. Bishop f8. Bishop takes f8, king takes f8. My king is in a very, very dangerous position. Wonder if I can consider queen e7. That looks stupid. Okay, I don't know what to do. I don't think anything really changed here. I'm still just clearly worse. So he didn't actually calculate. He played rook e1 on basic principles. Oh, man. I'm just totally lost here. Alright. Should be an easy win for white. He didn't see it again. Queen f5 just wins instantly. Queen f5, rook takes e6 and take everything. This is good for white, but it's not the best. The other line is... Although this line is good too, actually. Rook f4. This is obviously fatal for black. I think white played perfectly. From queen takes h7. I thought it was a mistake, but his move may even be stronger than winning the exchange, because he could have won the exchange simply by playing rook g4 h3. Instead of playing h3 rook g6 knight h4 winning the exchange, he plays rook e1, which is even stronger than winning the exchange directly. Now I'm just like paralyzed now. Completely paralyzed forever. Well guys, I don't know if I'm gonna have time for another game. It's taken like really long, like 20 minutes. I'm gonna play Santa Claus. Okay, he changed his challenge to 5-3. That's good, because the 7-3 was just a little too much. SXPG challenged me to 8-3, which was longer than I wanted. This game is gonna be a bust. Another very strong move. Extremely incisive move. This is like ridiculous. I'm just going to resign. I mean, there's no way I can play this position. Let's check it out. This turns out to be the main move in this position. Wow. That's surprising to me. All right. C3. Ah, this is the opening book move. Bishop h6, surprising. Also favored by Stockfish. No, he didn't play it right away. Or did he? He did. So I have to play f5. This is immediately refuted by queen takes h7, rook takes g2. Yeah, it's 0 cent pawn loss. 8 cent pawn loss, 0 inaccuracies. And after this rook g2, this rook g1 is actually stronger. h3 wins in exchange, but rook e1 might even be a stronger move. Still, I mean, I would just take the exchange if I were white. Like, why not? Why not just here? Knight h4. You just win the exchange. But he came up with even better. Possibly even better, because I don't see a refutation to rook e1. Queen a5. I have to play king d7 and start losing all my pawns and stuff. I mean, this might even be better. Anyway, like perfect game by white. All right, next game, Santa Claus 5+3. Yeah, I don't know. I shouldn't have given him the h pawn. I'm just lost after that. I wasn't aware that bishop d3 is actually a good move. I thought that would be like a positional mistake for white to trade the white squared bishops there. All right, guys, 5+3. Thanks for changing the time control to 5+3 Santa Claus, because I don't have much time. Gotta go. 20. I've got to go at 20. But King F1 I missed altogether. I mean, I really thought he's castling queenside, and his king will be safer over there. Once he played King F1, I understood what was going on. Like, my rook is trapped, and my whole concept doesn't work, you know. But if you don't see King F1, then you're thinking he's going to castle queenside. Black will have time to finish his own development, you know, and maybe it's not so bad. I actually have the better pawn structure. He's got like 2 Isolanis on F3 and H2. But I don't mind losing if the guy played perfectly. You know, what can I do? I don't know. Bishop G2. Other people challenge. Yeah, the guy challenged me to 8+3 SXPG. He hasn't been here for a while. I used to do 8+3, but it just takes too much time. The games can last like 20 minutes. So I'm going to transpose to this variation with G6. If you play D4, I can play either a King's Indian or keep it in the realm of the what do you call it, symmetrical English. Santa Claus, though, I thought you had me challenged to 7+3 before. Like, I would almost bet on it. You're saying that you always challenge to 5+3, but I was panicking because there was another 7+3 challenge. I think you challenged me to 7+3 and then changed your challenge to 5+3. But maybe you meant to do that, you know? Maybe I'm hallucinating. I thought like 5 minutes ago you definitely had a 7+3 challenge out there. And now it's 5+3 and it was perfect because that's what I wanted you to do. Yeah, Roman Gigiash really recommended this line, interestingly, for white. We looked at it for a while, but it's so boring I couldn't bring myself to play it. I think I played it once. It's really very, very little here for white. Queen A5 or Bishop E6 kind of symmetry. I don't actually play this line for black, but I have tried to play this line for white, and I felt like I have almost nothing. It was always 5+3. That's weird. Somebody was challenging me to 7+3. I'm just having hallucinations, I'm sure. Anyway, some people like to argue for the sake of arguing, but I don't care. I know what I saw. Queen A4. This is book. This is like Gingy's variation against the computer. I think I can continue the symmetry here. Once I actually won a game in this line against the FIDE master with white. It would help if I had actually played this myself with black. To know what I'm doing. Serbian Santa Claus is now up to 2440. Seems to be going up and up. I accused him of being an IM before, but he said he's not. There was a certain Serbian IM who was repeatedly coming to my stream with new accounts and then disappearing and then coming back with an IM or an FM, I'm not sure. Coming back with another account, then like having his account removed, then coming back with another account and like having his account banned or something. So I thought maybe it was him. Actually, there have been several interesting Serbian players. I don't know what the theory is. Oh my god. So if I continue with the symmetry, is that right? can't remember. I think you can do symmetry for almost forever in this line. But almost no one plays this variation. I don't think even Roman, with his crazy DVDs, ever got around to like doing a video about this stuff for white. Black should equalize somehow. I'm not sure where the line ends and where it begins. Queen takes a5, knight takes a5, bishop takes c5, knight takes c4. Ultimately, we're trying to get the initiative. This is the kind of position where I was white and I was frustrated because I didn't know, like, when the hell do you break the symmetry here? And it's just irritating, you know, to analyze these type of positions with insane symmetry for 10 or 12 moves. After bishop d3, the engines are saying rook g8, sacrificing a whole piece for the g2 pawn. We're talking about the last game. It feels really wrong for me for white to play bishop d3, but he is ahead in development. Most of the players played bishop g6 rather than trading on d3, enabling his development. I mean, it's not a dangerous line for black, but I made it dangerous by taking on d3 and letting him take on h7. But apparently bishop h6 has precedent. The one game that's in the lichess opening Explorer is with bishop h6. Not what I would expect to find like on the first game that I played it. I didn't even anticipate bishop h6 last game. I mean, I thought he would make like a normal developing move. But it seems to be the strongest. Santa Claus is thinking a lot here. What's the deal, man? I mean, this is all theory. I can't tell you what the next move is. Is knight e5 possible? Knight e5, yeah, that's a good move. I don't remember what the next move is for white. Yeah, I mean, I think you have to do this. Now that you don't have to do. I was thinking there maybe you have an alternative. Black should have really good comp. Pretty good or really good? Do we continue the symmetry? Bishop takes c4, it's almost like a joke. But bishop takes c4, knight e5. But I'm not that convinced, you know. Alright. It's more tempting, like my original plan was to play knight takes. But actually, man, I hope this isn't a mistake. Bishop a6. Yeah, here he feels like he missed the boat there. With bishop takes e7. He's got bishop c7. Wow, I didn't see that. So I have some issues. Precarious. Wow, that's awkward. Very tactical, sir. Bishop c7, rook c8, bishop takes a5, rook takes e5. He's up a pawn here. I thought maybe I have some compensation. But another fine game by white. He's a mere 2440. Soon he'll be higher rated than me. But he's Dear Santa Claus. Oh, he's Serbian Santa Claus on the other. Okay. I thought maybe you got a new account or something. Dear Santa Claus won a pawn. But it's very awkward. Very awkward indeed. The bishop on b4 is pretty strong. I can't take the pawn. It's like poisoned. Or is it? Well, anyway, I don't know what to do. I'm just a pawn down. Just a pawn down. For nothing. I have better king in the endgame. Doesn't care about his pawn. This is very unpleasant. Likely to be decided by time, unfortunately. Whoa. Mother of insta moves. But how's he going to get out of the pin? Yeah, I had to go after the pawn. The draw is fine by me. I mean, you're better the whole game. I don't see how I can make progress here. You can actually try to make progress by putting your king on d2. But I guess ultimately that's a draw anyway. Maybe this really is a draw. Like, there is no way. If anyone has a trick, it's me. If anybody has a trick, it's black here. He can't get out of the pin. But it's possible that we both missed wins. Various points there. He got himself in that very awkward pin. Obviously he was pawn up earlier. So the computer says I'm slightly better here, but realistically, with the time, there's no way I'm playing for a win. But he was just clearly up a pawn earlier. Now here you're still clearly up a pawn. I guess b4 was tempting, but a mistake to weaken your queen side. But I'm curious about the opening. You know, what's going on here? I ended up just dropping a pawn for not enough. Well, this has actually been reached in a couple games. 2400, winning with white. LaRue versus Howell, 2014. And this Miranda guy from Poland. Here I went wrong. I guess I did like the worst possible move here. Bishop takes c4. But black is down a pawn. It's not clear that I have enough compensation or not. My original plan is apparently better, to do knight takes. But it's not so clear. I mean, white has a small edge. So, another good game. Alright guys, thank you for the interesting games. We'll be back on Sunday with a simul on lichess at 6:30 p.m. CET here. 30 players, 40-40 time control. Enjoy your weekend, and I will see you then. Thanks, Soltigo. Thanks, everyone, for the tough games. Almost lost a couple there. I managed to only lose one. But this game was really difficult for black. It's an unpleasant variation. The first time I think one of the first times I actually ever played this for black. Maybe I'll start playing it for white again. I don't know. But, yeah, apparently here, knight g5 or knight d4. This is known. Yeah, so I don't know. I stopped playing it for white at some point. Something discouraged me, though. I'll have to look it up. I will see you guys on Sunday. Thanks, Soltigo, for moderating. Have a great weekend. Simul Sunday. Please subscribe here on Twitch. Thanks for your support. And also, if you can donate via PayPal to support the stream, I appreciate it. All the streams go to my YouTube channel, Video Chess Training on YouTube, so you can check out the old streams there. They'll remain available permanently. Video Chess Training on YouTube. Thanks, everyone. Have a great weekend and fun games today. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.